Well, good morning and welcome to the Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living. This welcome goes to all of you here in the sanctuary, and it goes out to all of those viewing live on YouTube through our streaming. So it's a welcome. We gather in this sanctuary to remember and recognize that our belief in the one Creator, God. And we know that there's not a spot where God is not. So God is in everyone, and everyone is welcome here. Do we have any new visitors for the very first time? If so, raise your hand, because we have a special welcome and gift for them. And if you want to get it later at the front desk, you can do so. So welcome, and now please stand for the Congregational Song with Reverend Mary.
Am I on? Check. Yes, I'm on. Good morning, everyone. Are you ready? See those lights shining. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, gonna let it shine, shine, everybody, shine, shine, all around the world, shine, 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 yes, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, yes, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, shine, everybody, shine, shine, all around the world, shine, shine, yes, shine, shine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine, yes, I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine, yes, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, I'm gonna let it shine, shine, everybody, shine, shine, all around the world, shine, shine, everybody, shine, shine, yes, shine, shine, everybody, shine, shine. Excellent, you got us off to a great start, thank you.
And a very good morning to everyone in this sanctuary. And to everyone that's watching us on our wonderful YouTube channel. Everyone is welcome. So let us take a moment to go within, as we say, because that power, the presence of Spirit is all around us. But right now we are knowing that presence, that beloved presence, that fills my being with its love, with its peace, with its joy. And it fills me with anticipation for all that is to come. I know that as I understand and move into this presence, lifting my own consciousness to its highest level, I find the good that is flowing through me. And I find the wonderful messages that are just for me. And I know, as the unique expression of God that I am celebrating myself is, that wonderful, wonderful being. And it finds expression in everything that I do today, from my prayer to my listening to my singing, but most especially to my being. I am so grateful to simply be here, be in the presence of something wonderful. So I just say yes, knowing that it's absolutely good, it's absolutely done. And I say, and so it is. And so we are here in this wonderful presence, and we're going to talk about some things that are going on and some things that are going to be going on. Today, our speakers for this service are Monica Ruth and Mark Ruth, and we're glad to have them doing this today. Yes. And hospitality is in Richelieu Hall, so you will have an opportunity to chat and be with everyone and talk about lots of good things. And so we're also going to be talking about a couple of things that are not so much happening today, but give you an opportunity to know about things that are happening. There are dance opportunities that are coming to Redondo Beach over in Richelieu Hall. The Dance In, Dance Out group, which had classes here before our pandemic time, is back, and they're going to be doing classes starting on September the 7th. They're going to be doing them on Wednesday nights this particular season, and it's going through November the 16th. So take advantage of that. Also, to kick off the season, they're going to have a dance on August the 21st, which is next Sunday, and they're going to be doing that from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., so that's next Sunday. Now, there is another group that's going to be having dances here the first Sunday of the month, starting next month. The South Bay Dance Club is a venerated dance group. They've been in the South Bay for decades, have been meeting someplace else, and they're now coming to have their dances here. So you can be a part of that on September the 4th is the one that's next that's happening. It's from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m., and that is a Sunday. And so they're very, very well known. They're very popular, and you're invited to be a part of that. Now, this is a whole lot of different things, and Donna Phelan is going to be out in the foyer. She's going to answer questions. Something you missed or something that you want to find out about, please check in with her. They have a lot of fun, and it's an enthusiastic group, so you can consider checking in with Donna to see what else you can know about that. The Sisters Club is also meeting today over in Richelieu Hall, and that's at 12:30. And also, Maureen McKinney, who is collecting supplies for Rainbow Services, will be out there to collect anything that you want to give to her and to answer any questions. She actually made the first delivery to Rainbow this past week on Friday. And this is really, really a grateful thing that they are for receiving these. Their kids are back going to school, and so it really is probably more important than you can imagine for these kids. Now, we had Discovery class here last Sunday for people who are interested in becoming a part of our church. And if you missed that, or if you have taken Science of Mind classes in this last period of time, that is also a mechanism for learning about the center, and you can, too, join the church. If you need more information about that, check in at the desk, and you can get all the paperwork that you need. And I'm sure Reverend Mary would be glad to answer any questions that you have and be able to help with that. There's a time coming when we're going to be accepting new members and having some activities for them, because we are having the first annual meeting that we've had in a while on October the 16th. And being a member of our center is part of how you get to come to that meeting. So, sign up if you meet the qualifications, and we would love to have as many people on October the 16th as we can. And so as we move forward through the week, we have some of our regular activities. Reverend the men's group is going to meet tomorrow night. They're meeting in the foyer, so that's August the 15th, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Reverend Kathy's book reading group, which has been meeting on Tuesday mornings, continues. It's in the foyer. It is at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And then also on Tuesday is yoga, which is meeting this week. It's 11 a.m., and it's over in Richelieu Hall. You want to bring a mat, and you also, the cost of the class is $10. And then on Wednesday, we continue the book reading online. It's called The Art of Life, and you can get a link from that by emailing the office, and that is a useful thing to do. It's hard to get in on a Zoom class without the link. And then we have our Wednesday morning service, which is August the 17th, and the speaker is Reverend Mary, is it not? Is it you? Are you this Wednesday? You don't know that. It's Reverend Kathy. Somehow that missed off being here. Reverend Kathy is our speaker. She is back and from their vacation, and she will be here on Wednesday. Oh, there it is. It is there. And on August the 21st is where Reverend Mary is speaking next Sunday here in the sanctuary. So just a reminder, we have dial-a-prayer. You can give us a call at 540-5242, and you get a minute of prayer from ministers. And so now, after all of those good things that are happening, we are going to welcome up our wonderful singer, Douglas Lanier.
Good morning. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one stays the same. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold, 'cause that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, the sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring, and a wounded heart will heal, but never much too soon. Yes, everything must change. The young become the old, and the mysteries do unfold. for that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. The rain comes from the clouds, the sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Rain comes from the clouds, the sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Everything must change, nothing stays the same. No. No one stays the same. Except the rain and the sun and hummingbirds. Oh, except the rain and the sun and music makes me cry.
Wow, that was Mr. Doug. Thank you, Doug. What a beautiful song. Thank you, Andy. While we're at it, let's thank our sound people and our video people as well. Thank you all. And our ushers and everybody else. Good morning, everyone. I almost said Reverend Mark and Reverend Monica, but Mark and Monica, our practitioners, will be giving the talk today, and the talk title is In the Flow. I'm going to drop this down a little. In keeping with that, Ernest Holmes says, there is one infinite life acting through the law, and that law is mental, and it is a law that is of action. By impressing our thought upon the substance, we will cause to create and produce that which we think. Now, being in the flow requires that we be present, doesn't it? It requires that we are here in the here and now, and that we are aware of just this flow of energy. It's not about doing. It's not about anything other than being. And sometimes it's referred to as being in the zone, or it's being in that energy of receptivity. Now, in this teaching, it reminds us that everything is fashioned by thought, isn't it? Everything's fashioned by thought. But thought actually doesn't create. It does not create. But thought is it places us in the universal flow of things, or it places us out of the universal flow of things. We don't manufacture, if we're coming from a place of lack, we don't manufacture lack, but we do ourselves put ourselves in the energy of lack because that's where our mind is flowing, correct? But the same can be true of success and joy. If we put ourselves in the flow of success and joy, we're not creating success and joy, but we are attracting it because we're in that vibrational energy of joy and success. So again, our teaching reminds us to think from the result instead of the condition. So think from what it is that we do want rather than what we don't want. And we do that by consistently thinking and knowing and feeling what it is that we desire. Because we didn't get into the pickle that we're in by listening to our inner wisdom, did we? We got into the pickles that we're in because we didn't listen to that inner wisdom. So our main charge is to be in the space of receptivity, and that baby agrees with me, to bring out what's already inside of us. And that means aligning ourselves with that inner wisdom and knowing that that power that's guiding us is the creative intelligence that also created us. I had dinner with a friend last night, and she reminded me of a lesson that she had heard from Dr. Tom Costa, who was the founding minister of the Palm Desert Center. And he gave a talk up at Silomar years ago, she said. And she said he used 4 words, and they were so powerful. And they were, God is my source. But he said, when you repeat it, don't just repeat it, God is my source. Repeat it as, God is my source. God is my source. God is my source. God is my source. Feel the difference? So he was saying a great way to keep in the flow is by repeating that. If you're ever stuck, if you're ever, your mind's just on the hamster wheel and it's just spinning and you can't figure out the solution, just be, God is my source. Because the moment you put yourself in that energy of peace, that energy of real love and real trust in the power in you, all of a sudden things have a magical way of working out. So please affirm with me, I am one with the divine mind that created me. I'm one with all of life. I am a light in the world. Now look at your neighbor, please, and say, you are a light in this world. I move, live, and have my being in the flow of life, and all is well. Thank you. And now we're going to have our congregational song. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. All righty. This is the time of the big event. I'm so excited. I get to introduce two really fabulous people. You've known them all throughout this center. They're also the chief cook and bottle washers all around here. They do everything. They have discussion groups and all kinds of fabulous things. And so now I get to introduce, I'm going to introduce Mark and Monica, but I'm going to introduce Monica Ruth first, one of our practitioners at our center. And let's welcome Monica.
Thank you. I'll just start with these because before it's over, I'm probably going to have to look at the cheat sheet. So good morning. In this topic, in the flow, when we look at that, what we learn is that a practitioner in the ancient Chinese religion of Taoism seeks to be one with the flow of life without struggle or strain. Now, Taoism uses the element of water as a metaphor to describe life. And the flow of water, it's one without, once it encounters something, an obstacle in its path, it tends to overcome and bypass it. It doesn't resist it. So if you think about a little stream high in the mountains and it's first beginning its journey, and it encounters something in its way. And what it does is, perhaps this obstacle is a boulder or a fallen tree or a pile of leaves and debris that's in its way. Now, the stream doesn't stop to fight and try to push that obstacle out of its way. No, what it does instead is it winds around the obstacle and it hurries on its way to its goal of becoming a large, powerful river. My oldest grandson graduated from high school recently. And in fact, he left for college and out of state, and they just left on Friday. The last time that our family had a group picture together was almost 9 years ago, and that was before my youngest grandson was even born. So several months ago, I made the request. I wanted us all to get together and have an updated, group family picture, and before my grandson Sean left for college. Pretty simple request, right? Do you have any idea of the variables involved in getting a group of 10 individuals together on an agreed upon day, at the same time, in the same place, and wearing colors that are complementary? Add to that image that we belong together. We're a family and not just some random collection of individuals. Well, in the old family picture, we were all wearing some shade of blue. And I thought this time, I said, muted colors would look nice. And I didn't want stark white or black. So I did my research. What do professional photographers suggest? What do they recommend? And there was different groupings of colors, and I came across this one that I liked. And it was in that family of the muted colors, it was like dusty rose and sage green and off-white, like a cream or ivory, and gray. So pleased with what I found, I sent off a sample of this to my daughter and my daughter-in-law. It wasn't long before the text messages start coming in. Oh, I think those colors will be hard to find right now. None of us have anything in any of those colors. We will all have to go shopping for something new, and we don't have time to do that right now. Now, I understand that my daughter's family and my son's family lead very, very busy lives. The kids are all involved in sports and extracurricular activities, and then you had, the end of the school year and the going off to college parties, the teenagers and their social obligations. So, and I'm retired. So I started to doubt myself a little, and I said, okay, that day, perhaps what I'm asking is really unrealistic. So that day I headed off to the mall to check out and see if I could find anything. And after visiting about 7 or 8 different stores, I found options in the family of these 4 colors. And so in both male and female clothing. And each time that I saw something that I thought could possibly work, I pulled out my phone and I took a picture and I sent it off to them. Now, you understand, I wanted to help alleviate their sense that this was an absolute impossibility, what I was requesting. And I know you all understand that I was just trying to help. In no way was my ego trying to prove that I was right. And if you believe that, will you please see me after service? I have a bridge in the desert that I'd like to try to sell you. So, over the course of the next week or so, and these back and forth text communications, which I perceived as offering resistance to my desire. Well, it was after this was going on, I started noticing that I was getting tightness in my chest. And I recognized this from my past. This happens when I am emotionally constricting and I am closing off. I wasn't feeling, nor was I sending love and kindness. Instead, it was as if I was armoring up, to protect myself, as if I was under attack. So after one more of these messages, and in this frame of mind and feeling this way, I started to send off a response. I start texting, "Are you going out of your way to try and make this difficult?" Thank goodness. Before I finished typing those words and before I hit send, I caught myself. I course corrected. So I'm hitting the backspace button and I'm erasing those words. And what I typed instead was, "One day you will all thank me for this beautiful family photo." Exclamation point, and I hit send. In the Jewish text, the Talmud, it says, "We do not see things as they are. We see things as we are." And in the New Testament, in Matthew, it says, "It's done unto you as you believe." And we learn in religious science that a change in consciousness always precedes a change in form. So it was just the evening before that I almost sent that snarky text that I was thinking about, and I was reflecting on this chest tightness that I was having and why I was so irritated and upset about things. So I wanted to find the exact word to describe what it was that I was feeling. And the word that came to me was thwart. So I looked up the meaning of thwart because I wanted to make sure that it did indeed describe exactly what it was and how I was feeling. Thwart, to hinder, stifle, delay, obstruct, impede, frustrate, block, defy. Yep, that's what I was feeling. So a technique that I have used before is, once I get clear with what it is I'm feeling, and that word matches, I will look up the antonym. What is the opposite of that word? Because the opposite is what's absent, what's missing from me right now. So the antonym, the opposite of thwart, is assist, help, encourage, support, promote, facilitate, hasten. Yes, 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 that's how I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel in the flow of this wonderful intention of mine taking shape, unfolding and taking form. I wanted a lovely family photo to enjoy. But how do I get there? I didn't know for certain, but what came to mind was an image of all 10 of us together on a boat in the direction of the river's current. And we were heading towards our next fabulous port of call. We were all laughing and having fun, and there was a sense of connection. We were all enjoying that journey together. So after that, the back and forth text communication stopped after I had sent that last one. The chest tightness stopped. Was it simply me getting clear on the antonym of thwart that kept me from almost sending that snarky text message? Or was it me mentally shifting my focus off of what I perceived as resistance and instead visualizing us arriving at our desired destination? Was it me emotionally opening my heart chakra and dropping any sense of needing, to armor up that I have to get ready to do battle? Whatever happened, the change was first in me. Ernest Holmes said, "We have the right to choose what we wish to experience." And what I wished to experience was a photo of my beautiful family to enjoy for years to come. So I give it to you now. Is that one good-looking port of call or what? Thank you. And now I ask you to help welcome up my husband, Mark, who many of you know better as the Truth from Ruth guy.
Well, that's definitely a hard act to follow, because that was a wonderful talk from the heart. Had Science of Mind lessons. Reverend Mary gave us more information. And so it's been nice talking to you. Oh, I will give you my point of view on in the flow. It is irresistible when you hear that topic, in the flow, not to have references to water. I mean, she brought up the Chinese have it as the view of life, and so we hear about water an awful lot. Now, quite coincidentally, I always like to quote from Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, and I like to get my quotes accurate, so I read them. And in Living the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says, "There is a river of life, clear as crystal, flowing through the body of humanity, uniting every part of creation. Therefore we say that the river of life, forever flowing through us, is ever ready and willing to take the form we give it." So even Ernest Holmes likes to turn it into water. But the concept of our thoughts take the form, as Reverend Mary pointed out, it will take the form with our belief and our conviction behind it, and that's our Science of Mind lesson. It's one of our basic beliefs. So I sit back and I go, okay, I think we understand from a Science of Mind point of view, but a lot of us sometimes lack a little faith. And we like to hear, what does science have to say about in the flow? So I did a little research, and believe it or not, there is a doctor in psychology, graduated with his PhD from the University of Chicago in 1965, and in 1990 he wrote his seminal piece of information, and his work was called Flow, the Psychology of Optimal Experience. They then gave this guy the title of Father of Flow. Now, his name, I have it spelled out phonetically. His last name is Csikszentmihalyi. Now, that is an ancestral name from the village in Transvalia, that's a tough one for me to say, where the ancestors grew up. And I said, boy, you think when he came to the United States, he would have shortened that a little bit, but only some of us did that. Now, the internet in my research says, in his seminal theory, he outlined his theory that people are happiest when they are in a state of flow. It is a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. The flow state is also known as being in the zone, or those of you from the 60s and 70s, in the groove. So scientifically, this lines up with science of mind. But he pointed out you're happiest when you're looking at one particular activity, you're focused on it, you have no other thoughts of work, anything else. Let's say you're doing a hobby, you're playing chess, you're focused on that activity, and that's where happiness is. And I says, boy, I think that theory is just a little limiting. I think you can be happy generally at other times. Now, I do know that when I am taking that shot in golf, I'm not thinking about the hole before. I'm not thinking about the hole that I just had. I'm thinking about that shot. I'm not worried about work. I'm not worried about family, friends. I'm in the zone of hitting that shot. Now, doesn't that seem pretty similar to Eckhart Tolle, the power of now? Sure, because if you're trying to hit that little ball and you're thinking or worried about, oh, my life's not going good, boy, the stock market's down, you're not going to hit that ball. You're not going to be in the zone. You're not going to be in the groove. But I also think, from a spiritual point of view, we don't have to limit ourselves of happiness to isolated events. Spiritually, if we have faith in the one Creator, we're manifesting good things in our life, we're choosing happiness, we're choosing peace, we're choosing harmony, and guess what? My life is good. My relationships are good. The health is good. The prosperity is good. I'm in the flow. I'm in the zone. That's all from our spiritual beliefs and thinking and using our science of mind principles and practices. Now that's good, but we all know from time to time we are presented with challenges or problems, and the negativity begins. And this is not a teaching of denial that you shouldn't have anger or upset, anxiety. This is not a teaching of denial. It's a teaching of feel it, understand it, and then attract into your life, as Monica pointed out, the opposite of thwart. Okay? So we look at that. Because the law of attraction, which we've talked about plenty, is the more we keep telling our negative story, the more we keep dwelling on that negativity, the law of attraction says, I'm going to get more of it. Once again, that's our science of mind beliefs. And sometimes people don't recognize that it's science of mind. Is there science behind that? And I think there is. Now, Ernest Holmes had to say, in the River of Life chapter of Living the Science of Mind, he pointed out, it appears that we have the ability, at least temporarily, to pollute this stream of life with consciousness of hate, despair, or any negative thought which denies its purity. Hopelessness. Wow. Getting back to streams, it sounds like when we have that feeling of hopelessness, we think we're up that stream without a paddle. So I don't like to look at being up the stream without a paddle. But what does science say about that negativity? A neuroscience researcher by the name of Stephen Parton, writing about brain synapses that fire together, wire together. Every time this electrical charge is triggered, the synapses grow closer together, in essence, making it easier for that same thought to trigger. Not only do repeated negative thoughts make it easier to think yet more negative thoughts, they also make it more likely that negative thoughts will occur to you just randomly walking down the street. Wow, I read that and I said, okay, that definitely backs up the law of attraction, but it's doing it from a scientific point of view as to how our brain operates. And what was interesting was the repetitive nature and how our random thoughts can be increasingly negative. Well, is there a solution? We, members of religious science and a belief in science of mind principles, we think there is. I know Reverend Mary pointed out a number of them. Now, I don't believe in the concept of being up the stream without a paddle, because believing in science of mind, I always have the paddle. What are some of the things we do? Change our thinking, change our world. Monica talked about, okay, I'm feeling thwarted. What's my opposite? Sounds like the golden key. Take my mind off the problem, put it on the solution. What do we do in prayer treatment all the time? We don't tell our stories of woe and complaint. No, we want to attract and bring into our life. That prayer is our statement of truth of what we want. So we have tools and principles and practices. I mean, we have the prayer treatment, we have meditation. There's any number of things that we can do. So, Holmes gives us a reminder in this thing called you. As your consciousness lifts itself above the problem into a spiritual atmosphere of affirmation, the problem as such disappears and the answer takes its place. The sun never really stops shining and the river of life forever flows. Thinking of it this way, keep your mind not on the repetition of thoughts about the problem, but on the receipt of the answer. So, is there a way that we can remember these science of mind principles? And I think there is. And it's from a children's nursery rhyme from the 1850s. And you are all very familiar with this. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And you're saying, how in the world is that going to help me with science of mind? Row, row, row your boat. You are directing that boat. It is not chaotically. You are guiding it. Okay, so from the inside out, you're in control. You're not in chaos. So, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Not chaos, not anger, but gently with grace and ease, you're directing yourself in that flow. Merrily, 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 merrily. You're happy. Your life is good. And your life is just a dream. What are our dreams, our desires, and what we want to attract into life? All right, our science of mind principles. So, please join with me in remembering our science of mind principles. Ready? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Monica, for a lovely lesson in the flow. I am so grateful that we all got to practice today, singing and everything. This is a time in our service where we acknowledge and honor our mission statement, which is to honor your presence, to nurture your spirit, and to enrich the life of all we serve. And so as the ushers are coming down to share so that we may do the lesson, do the offering, I want to share with you a very brief letter. I am so grateful for the new opportunity I have been given. A dear friend has generously given me a glorious experience on a trip, and I'm so excited and grateful, and I'm happy for them. Thank you. So let us join in the offertory blessing. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. Thank you. And so now we're going to welcome back Dennis, who's going to give us a lovely song. Oh, I said, what did I say? Dennis? Doug.
You can call me Dennis. I don't mind. I don't mind. Y'all can shake a little bit if you want to. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of my bad feelings have disappeared. There is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. all around, nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. Look all around, nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, oh bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, so bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day, sunshiny day.
And so a very big thank you to Douglas, who has really entertained us lovely with his wonderful singing and his songs and choices of songs. And a big thank you to Andy, too. He's our music director, and he makes it happen for us, and we thank him much. And as Mary indicated, that crew back there in the back is not only what makes it happen for us in the room, but also for those folks online. And we very much appreciate their work, their dedication. So thank you very much. I am really grateful to be here, and I want you to know how much Dr. Moira appreciates all of the people who are coming together to make services possible. And it's a very brief message from her today, but she says, knowing all is well at church today, big hugs and love to you and everyone, and thanking us all for our service. And let me tell you, you all that are here, that you're in the flow with us, are part of this service too. You are here with your energy and your consciousness and supporting this center as only you can. You understand that little hand motion that you did as a child with here's the church and here's the steeple. And you open the door and there are the people. The people are the church, and that is who you are. We're a center, but in that sense, we are a church. And I am grateful that you're here. I'm grateful for the dozens of people that are online as well. We're all a part of this one idea. And so as we do our blessing today, what we know is, as happy as we are, and as much in the flow as we are, we know that there is a great big world out there that needs our highest and best thoughts and concerns every day. And I invite you, as you do your prayers for yourself, for your community, for people that you love, that you include that wider world and know that everyone always has the freedom to choose how they want to be in the world. All the time, every moment, every day, and every day is a fresh beginning. So with that in mind, let us do our blessing. I know divine love enfolds me. Divine light leads me. Divine life lives in me. Divine wisdom inspires me. Divine compassion expresses through me. And divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life in expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days in grace and ease, in peace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship for all. What I now know for myself with blessing and a deep gratitude, I know for all life. There is only God. There is only God. There is only God. And so it is. So let's rise for the peace offering.